Tesla's supercharging network set to rake in piles of cash. It's hard to think of EV chargers as a business rather than infrastructure. But then again, the same could be said for gas stations, although just about everyone still on the road today grew up while a station was commonplace. Now, charging companies are beginning to generate a large amount of revenue, and the short-term financial projections look great. Welcome to Critical Materials, your daily roundup for all things EV and automotive tech. Today, we're talking about Tesla's place in the EV charging space. We'll also chat on the U.S. Court of Appeals' decision to uphold California's EV rules, and a little bit about brand loyalty. Let's jump in. With more and more new EVs on the road every day, DC fast charging is looking like a hot new market to be in. A new analysis by Bloomberg NEF projects that by 2030, the charging industry is on track to generate $127 billion in revenue globally by 2030. And coming in hot is Tesla, which is estimated to make around $7.4 billion or 6% of that income. $7.4 billion is nothing to shake a stick at. That's a cool chunk of cash, especially if you consider that Tesla's total revenue for 2023 was a whopping $96.8 billion. The automaker currently has around 57,000 chargers worldwide. Of those, 25,172 are in the U.S. across 2,235 stations at the time of writing. Bloomberg estimates that all of Tesla's chargers raked in around $1.74 billion of charging revenue in 2023. Or around 17% of the services other segment that Tesla accounts for in its earnings. Keep in mind that this isn't all profit. Tesla has operating costs, it pays for electricity, and it has to continue expanding its charging footprint to remain competitive. Bloomberg estimates that around 10% of Tesla's supercharging revenue, or $740 million of the $7.4 billion, will be profit. Bloomberg also raises a valid point: it's not all about the charging money. Tesla gets additional value out of the supercharger network beyond the sale of electricity, in the form of marketing. To access the company's vast network, non-Tesla drivers have to download the Tesla app and drive to superchargers plastered with its brand. This presents ample opportunity for Tesla to advertise its range of products and convert customers from the competition. It also raises the question in the customer's mind: why can't my automaker make charging work? This tactic has worked for other automakers as well. Companies like Lucid have used Tesla charging network as a way to poach potential customers by parking near a supercharger and offering test drives. Realistically, Tesla needs as much help as it can get right now. Sales numbers are down, and 2024 is looking to shape out as a problematic year for the electric automaker, even with a refreshed Model 3 making its debut. If increased charging revenue from non-Tesla brands can help bolster Tesla's income, it seems like a win-win. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's 2022 decision to reinstate California's authority to set its own emissions and EV requirements is upheld thanks to a recent court ruling. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia ruled in favor of the EPA's decision following a legal battle. Enacted by 17 entities and U.S. states which challenged the constitutionality of the Clean Air Act. Essentially, the argument to the court was that the CAA made California a regulatory power over other states. The court declined that argument, siding with the EPA. It noted that reversing the decision could result in automakers selling fewer EVs or potentially lowering the price of their gas-powered models. Rather than focusing on improving tailpipe emissions or transitioning towards battery electric vehicles. California Governor Gavin Newsom had the following to say. The court sided with common sense and public health against the fossil fuel industry and Republican-led states. This ruling reaffirms California's long-standing right to address pollution from cars and trucks. Work started by Governor Ronald Reagan and codified by President Richard Nixon. The clean vehicle transition is already here. It's where the industry is going. The major automakers support our standards, and California is hitting our goals years ahead of schedule. We won't stop fighting to protect our communities from pollution and the climate crisis. The EPA is also under fire by automakers and industry trade groups after it published the final ruling on fuel economy and tailpipe emissions requirements through 2032. The rules, while by far the strictest to have been enacted on U.S. automakers, are just a shell of what could have been if the EPA got its way with its first draft on the matter. Still, the ruling is a nudge in the right direction to reduce emissions. Something that will cost automakers big bucks to do despite having to wear a smile during the transition. Look, everyone has a brand preference. In my petrol days, I've always been partial to BMW as my go-to fun car. But my daily drivers have been all over the map. Today, I'm one of those Tesla drivers who have found myself uttering the phrase, "I love my Tesla," but. That being said, are you one of the 87% of people that Bloomberg found would buy another Tesla? Or are you loyal to another brand and waiting for the right EV? Source: reposted and summarized from @insideevs.